So recently I caught wind of a video from Rion, who before yesterday I probably haven't watched in like 4 years or something like that. Used to watch them religiously back when I considered myself an anti-SJW, but, obviously I lost interest in that sort of content, and that's not the sole reason I lost interest in Rion's channel. They also shifted the focus of their content to influencer drama I don't give a shit about, so yeah. Last I heard, they came out as non-binary like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. By the way, anyone know Repsion's pronouns? Because I actually don't know if they strictly go by they, them pronouns. I scoured through their social media just before to find a list of pronouns they prefer to go by, but I couldn't find such things, so I'm using they, them pronouns to be on the safe side. But anyway, let's finally get to the topic of this video. They made a video announcing that they will be leaving YouTube sometime in 2024, and they have been active on YouTube since 2008. The reason they want to quit YouTube is because they say YouTube has been damaging to their mental health. Since the internet can be a ruthless place, they had to develop thick skin and become desensitized to what other people say about them. The problem with this is, this began to extend into their personal life, and they began to expect people they would encounter in their day-to-day life to have the same thick skin and apathetic attitude, and this would hinder relationships they would have with other people in their personal life. And this video really resonated with me, not because I have any ideation to quit YouTube, at least not at this current point in time, but the way I conducted myself on YouTube and online in general also hindered my interactions with other people, similar to how it did with Rion. I had the same tough guy, I don't give a fuck what other people say about me persona for a period of time on this channel, when that was not reflective of the kind of person I was during that time, and still not reflective of the kind of person I am. As you know, I suffer really bad social anxiety. Interacting with other people, especially people who I'm not familiar with, is extremely difficult for me. So I'm constantly like, what if I say or do something to embarrass myself? Whenever I'm out in public, I'm just analyzing all of the people around me, making sure no one is paying attention to me. And I was very much the same way back then, but I wanted to mask that anxiety and insecurity with this tough guy attitude and make it seem like I'm this person who doesn't give a fuck what people think about me. I mean, I was still upfront about anxiety back then, but I still wanted to project this persona that was not reflective of who I was in real life, because on the internet you can be whoever you want to be, essentially. The people who watch my videos don't know everything about my life. Even the people who I talk to frequently on Discord don't know every intimate detail about my life. So for a while, I used this to my advantage and tried to play up an image of someone who I'm really not. And this began to seep a little bit into my personal life. I was like, oh, people on the internet see me as this outspoken asshole, so let me act like that in real life, because, real life is totally just like the internet. And I've explained this before, I was cracking jokes at other people's expense even if they really didn't appreciate the joke. I was intentionally saying things that I knew would piss some people off to get other people to laugh. This isn't to say YouTube is solely to blame for my shitty behavior back then. Of course, I was fully in control of my own actions. I was an asshole back then. However, when you put yourself out there enough on the internet, you do on some level become desensitized to what others say and think about you. When some rando commenter calls me a dumb fuck, I don't really pay that much mind, because at the end of the day, it's just another useless, mean-spirited comment. Apathy when it comes to how others perceive you on the internet to an extent is perfectly fine, because you're going to encounter assholes on the internet. That's just an inevitability, unfortunately. However, it is up to the individual to understand when that apathy is applicable or not. When you're doing YouTube full-time, and I think in Repsion's case they do have a job outside of YouTube, but for years they were doing YouTube as a full-time job, and even after getting a quote-unquote real job, they were still doing YouTube frequently. But anyway, when so much of your time has been sunk into creating content that can be subject to merciless critique from thousands of people online, it can become difficult to blur the lines between how you treat people online versus how you treat people in real life. I've never done YouTube as a job, but it's been a hobby I've enjoyed for nearly a decade now. At this point, I've received so many comments calling me every name under the sun. And it is easy for those people to call me every name under the sun because I'm not someone they're ever going to interact with in real life, more than likely. I'm just a voice coming from their computer speakers, or their phone speakers, or their headphones, or whatever the fuck. Everyone we interact with online online are people we will likely never know on a personal level, so therefore it is easy to have disregard over what we say to them or how we treat them. Look, I love being able to interact with people who I would otherwise never be able to interact with had the internet never existed, but the internet in many other ways has been a detrimental force in how we interact with other people and how we treat other people. It has never been easier to say whatever the fuck you want to a person and face zero repercussions if you choose to say the nastiest things towards them. I just hate the notion that everyone on the internet is an asshole and there's nothing you can do about it. It's something that is celebrated by so many people. Why do you have to be an asshole towards everyone you encounter on the internet just because you have some level of anonymity? To me, that's not being a bold asshole, that's being a flat-out fucking coward. Everyone on the internet is an exaggerated version of themselves, myself included. I'm not ranting and raving about shit I don't like all the time in real life like I do on this channel. This is especially true when it comes to content creation because you want to keep an audience entertained, but everyone on the internet, regardless if they're a public figure or not, wants to put a version of themselves out there that they want the public to see. And for a while, the version of myself that I wanted to put out there was just a character that was an abrasive asshole that wasn't afraid to say slurs and offend other people. And I tried to be like that to an extent for a little bit in real life because it got approval from people online, and guess what happened? It costed me some friendships that I would love to have still been in. A byproduct of my social anxiety is always wanting to seek approval from other people, and for a while the only approval I was attaining was from people online who were goading the asshole persona I was playing up on my YouTube channel. And then after a while I realized this shit isn't good for my psyche because this just isn't who I am. So for me it was either change up how I conduct myself online to better reflect who I am in real life, or just quit being an online figure entirely, and Rion has chosen the latter. And if that's what they feel is best for their mental health, then I support their decision 110%. The people who appear on your monitors, or just appear as text on your monitors, are still people as well. There is nothing wrong with having more consideration for how you treat other people, even if they are just text on your screen, or just people in general you're never going to interact with in your day-to-day life. There is nothing rewarding about being an unlikable asshole just because you're able to get away with it online. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.